Let me ask you. Let me just ask you something. We've been on the air for about what? How many couple of months now?
2, exactly. Almost.
Okay. How many smooth takeoffs have we had? Maybe fucking 11%. And I'm trying to be nice here. Colin Quinn's like, hey, you got to be nice here. I go, first of all, mind your business, Quinn. All right. Never. Guy's done radio 3 times. He thinks he knows how it works. I hope you're listening, Colin.
This is about smooth ones.
Please let me finish. Okay, plenty of smooth ones. The point is, we should have all smooth ones. Okay, and this is about the 5th fuck up, and I can go back if you want me to document this shit. What happened?
Well, we were under the impression that I would play out the theme song in here, but I cannot get it to trigger in here.
There you go. That's more of an explanation than you gave me.
That was my backup.
What was your backup?
That's why I went over and talked to Brad. I said, "Hey, if mine doesn't start on time, I'm gonna need you to trigger the production start of the show."
So you gave him a heads up.
Yeah, but we didn't know that you couldn't fire it from there.
There you go. I'm dealing with a couple of amateurs, but listen, I came in here and I was going to give Andy Flowers more airtime because I had Ron Bennington in. I was like, "Hey, this is kind of nice. It takes some of the pressure off." Although I could talk for hours, you know. And so I came in. I said to Andy, I'm going to bring in more because, just because I had fun with Bennington, a little give and take. And then now this. It's like watching, you know what the beginning of these shows are? It's like watching the North Koreans try to shoot off a missile. Look, we got maids walking by from countries we've never heard of. Come on, guys, get your shit together, honestly. I know your computer froze. I don't know what that means. I don't know when it froze. A second before the show kicked off, 5 minutes before. But that should not affect the beginning of the show at 6 o'clock, right?
You're right.
Huh?
I took a chance on restarting it because I know it takes a little while to reload. I did it at 47, and I didn't start up in time.
13 minutes, and it didn't reload?
It's the whole. What is it? Is it the whole library of everything that we have in the whole system? It takes a long time to reboot.
Then you should know it wouldn't take 13 minutes if it's the whole library. Even I would know that. What is it a computer or Loom?
I took a chance. It's on me.
All right, we got to the bottom of that. Just when I was about to give you a big part of the show.
Oh, boy.
You motherfucker. Oh, I try. I try. I tried.
I did the best I could.
This is
what about
Andy
me?
Every day.
What am I supposed to do?
That's Andy Flowers.
I did the best I could. What about me? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Oh, God help us. How are you, folks? Welcome to the show, I think. Here's the fucking clock I don't want to see. Are you guys like me? I can't be looking at the clock. It makes the time go super slow. You know what I mean? When it's right in front of you. I got to pretend I'm having a good time for like 20 minutes. Then we go to break. And I keep forgetting, Andy, about the floating break. I always treat it as like a hard...
Mm-hmm.
You could just give me like a 3-minute, and after that, I'll yap and then get out if you want to, whatever. I know the show's working like a Swiss watch as it is, so we'll leave it be. How are you, folks? 866-969-1969. I don't know why I give out the number yet, but I heard a few other people do it. Real pros who've been on the radio for a long time. Even before they start talking, they get there's already a guy on the line. We won't get to him yet, but this is why I love our show. There's already people on the line before we've even got into the show, which is a good sign. People ask me, how's the show going? I go, I have no fucking idea. People up here won't tell me. The upper brass, they're very, they play it close to the vest, as they say. And my agent, Tony Burton, super agent Tony Burton of Don Buchwald and Associates, he said, and he suggested we do something he calls it a text line. It's people who text into the show while it's going on. And he sends me a picture like I've never seen an iPad or a computer screen. He actually sends me a picture, and the picture's like way too big. I can't even get a focus on it. But I guess he's got a couple of clients at WAAF in Boston, a station I grew up with, and they use a text line, besides the call-in line, so people can, Brandon, let me ask you have you heard of this type of thing? I go to you because you're what, 25?
Yeah, 25. Right. Yeah, I've heard of the same thing. I don't know what kind of gleaming questions we get from text as aside from the call-ins, you know what I mean?
Well, they can comment. Here's the thing with Collins. A lot of the time, the people are behind what we're talking about. You know what I mean? We change subjects. They're behind that type of shit. So I think it's more about real time.
Gotcha.
And stuff like that. And it provides fodder for us.
Sure.
So I suggest you have that ready tomorrow. That was Super Agent Tony Burton's idea. And he sends me a visual like I'm fucking severely retarded in a diaper, which I am severely retarded, but I'm not in a diaper. And, hey, folks, July 25th, which is next Tuesday night, come see me at the Fat Black Pussycat. Go to ComedyCellar.com for tickets. And listen to this show at 2 a.m. on the East and 11 in the West at night. We call that the overnights. And listen on demand anytime you want. Although, I guess there was a little problem with that, too. But that was company-wide. I get very... If you could see Andy Fiore's face right now, he looks like Miss Hathaway in the Beverly Hillbillies, dead serious, typing away. Go to nickdip.com and hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at Nick DiPaolo. I don't know why, but do it. I mean, Patton Oswalt has like 70 million followers. All the nerds are through the fucking roof on Twitter with their Game of Thrones pussy. Should I bother watching that? I hear it mentioned, and it's already in the last season. I hear it mentioned 11 times a day for the last year. And I know there's a lot of violence and sex in it. So, again, so is The Sopranos. I'd rather see Italian pussy than some Queen of England with a fucking yeast infection having her head lopped off by King Arthur. I don't know what goes on with those. I don't know how to make a fucking nerd show. Andy, have you watched it?
I love it. Yeah.
You do?
Uh-huh.
This is why I love and Brendan, give it a thumbs up. Again, two millennials who really never tasted pussy till about a year ago. Now, listen. No, I'm kidding. Andy went to Villanova. It's been a year and a half since he... I keep hearing great shit about it. You know? Not from people that... from people I respect, but... You know, it's one of those things. It's like, Jesus, the whole world. And then when I'm watching like the Red Sox game, one of my favorite Red Sox right now is Andrew Benintendi. And again, he's your age, Brendan, actually younger than you by a couple of years. They had bobblehead night at Fenway. It was Game of Thrones bobblehead night, and Andrew Benintendi. Now, here's a kid. I'm like, this guy's getting more ass than a portal toilet on Earth Day in Central Park. And that was a good one. And I'm like, this guy's a pro athlete, banging everything that moves. He likes Game of Thrones. How nerdy can it be? There's nothing nerdy about Andrew Benintendi. Kid's got hair down to his ass. And hits, runs. Going to be a future Hall of Famer, I think. Chris in Rochester is going to tell me why I do not need to watch the Game of Thrones. Chris, why not? I heard it's a terrific show with a lot of tits.
Hey, you fucking guinea, what's going on?
Take it easy. Back off there, Chris. I know you're miserable living up in Rochester, but go ahead.
I just fucking pulled into my driveway, kind of off topic here.
Yes.
And there's this old lady just going through my kid's swing set. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Hey! She's got some sort of a fucking dish in her hand.
She's got a dish?
She's looking for a cat. Yeah, she's looking for a cat. So
is she sniffing the swing set?
No, but she's like looking at it really creepily. I'm not getting out of my fucking car.
I'd get out of your car. I'd tackle her. I'd get a running start and dry gulch that bitch. Knock her into next week. Your thoughts?
As a heterosexual white male, that's exactly what you would do. That's exactly what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to fucking end up on CNN.
I forgot you were gay. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, come on. Don't watch Game of Thrones, and here's why.
Why?
So many fucking of these douchebags watch it now that it's cool to not watch it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to waste fucking 48 minutes of every goddamn Monday getting a fucking recap of this episode. I don't even watch it, but I made the mistake of asking somebody, hey, what the hell happened this week? And I got a 15-minute fucking dissertation about why I should be watching it. So fuck them. I'm not watching it. The last thing that everybody said, oh, you got to watch this, was Breaking fucking Bad.
Right.
And I'm sorry, the show was decent, but the show wasn't the greatest fucking thing on earth the way these fucking people make it.
Chris, I'm with you. I love Breaking Bad. I loved it, but you know what? Couldn't hold a candle to The Sopranos. Andy Flowers would like to weigh in.
That's such a tough pick for me. I love all three of these shows.
Oh my God,
But
you
I
couldn't.
think I had to go Breaking Bad over Sopranos.
Oh
in a
my
tight
God,
race.
you know what? I need a new producer. I have a retarded. It's fucking millennial.
1 and 2, 1A and 1B.
You know
In fact,
what?
I'm not a millennial. I'm almost 40 for Christ's sakes.
Okay, what do you fit into? Thank you, Chris, for the
Gen
call.
X.
I appreciate that from Rochester. I love the kid. Gen X. How about Gen Jerkoff? Gen J.O. How the fuck? Yeah, motherfucker. Look, Breaking Bad, and I loved it. I watched it in big gulps. What do they call it? Binge watching. I did that. But to even compare it, put it in the same league as Sopranos, you have to be gayer than Mike Musto. Mike Musto. Gayer than Mike Musto. Who's Mike Musto? He's a guy who is telling all the people that read that gay newspaper, what's it called?
Village Voice.
Not the Village Voice. This fucking guy.
That's what he writes for.
You're having a bad day, dude. Yes, he does, but that's not the fucking the gay. There's a paper for gay people, like Outed or something. What's it called,
Blaze?
Brendan? Come on, your pictures on the front page.
Is
of
it
the
Out Magazine?
Out Magazine. Thank you very much. He's telling all the gay people that subscribe to Out Magazine, that get rid of your Republican friends. But I'll get to him in a few seconds. How did I bring him up, Andy?
I don't know. We were on. You said I was gay for liking Breaking Bad over.
I don't mean that as an insult. By the way, and I don't want to hear it, okay, folks? Judy Gold, I'm trying to get her in here. She's afraid of me. She's 6'3", Jewish lesbian who I'm angrier than I'll ever be. She got feet like Gronkowski, funny as all hell, hands like Mark Bavaro, and an ass like Jackie Chan. I love this bitch. She she got an ass so flat you could play handball of it. She actually got a pretty face for a lesbian. What does that mean? There's a lot of pretty lesbians. I know that. That was a dumb statement on my part. My point being, I fucking love Judy Gold. We'll get her in here. She's a little hesitant, but Keith in Long Island has another opinion of whether I should watch the Game of Thrones or not. Apparently, he was in a couple episodes. Keith, your thoughts?
Yeah, right. I never watched the show, but that was, that fantasy stuff, and, I did watch, like, the Lord of the Ring movies. Maybe that wrecked it for me or whatever, but, I from one guy to another, you're into sports, stuff like that, I don't think you'd like it at all.
Keith, you know what? I've heard that from a few people who are open-minded, like nerdy, and they appreciate me even, and they go, but I don't think you'll, and I think you're right. Did they talk with English accents? Oh, that's it.
I can get past stuff like that,
I can't.
I don't know. I mean, I'm hearing dragons in it too. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's like Dungeons and Dragons comes
Not
to
a
life?
huge part, but they are cool.
There's dragons?
It is true. Everyone is talking about it. So maybe the in thing is not to watch it or whatever. So I don't know, but
I don't know. Everybody was talking.
Like I said, from an Italian to another. Especially you like sports like I do. I'm a gamer too. I play video games. I don't even play those kind of games. I play sports and like shooter games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not into that fantasy stuff. So yeah, I would think you wouldn't like it.
Okay, I appreciate you weighing in, Key. So that's 2-0. Don't watch this shit.
You smug cocksucker.
Well,
Fuck you.
That was the guy, the chick who wrote it. That was a guy, actually. I just like violence and tits. I thought that might be a nice natural fit, but I'd rather the violence be coming out of Paulie Walnuts and the tits be coming out of Christopher's girlfriend. And not some Queen of England or some... Is it like... I guarantee there's a bunch of gay characters in it because it's an HBO fucking phenomenon,
There's
right?
a few.
Of course.
Not an overwhelming amount.
Really? What's the number for overwhelming, Andy?
There's like one or two in the beginning. And I don't think there's not many at all.
They even worked one in you know what? Braveheart.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
They had to work some. Do you guys pick up on that? And again, I have plenty of gay friends, so I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't want to hear it, okay? I'm just saying, you can't tell me there's not an agenda. Braveheart really needed that gateway. Didn't the old man throw him off the top of the castle? You know what's weird? That's sort of like what they do now in Iran. Yeah. Instead of a castle, it's a 8-story fucking shithole. But
I love them all, man. They're all good TV.
Nobody's saying that. That's taking the weasel way out. We know that's all good TV, but I'm surprised, man. I'm surprised. I really thought Sopranos, in my opinion. Well, again, SAG voted it the greatest television show ever, and I was on it, so that's not Nobody asked me to do Game of Thrones. I would have loved to I would have loved to dry gulch some fruity prince. Hack somebody's head off. Oh, God. Let's go to Dennis in Westchester. Seems very confused. Dennis, how are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm not confused, Nick.
Okay.
I watched Sopranos forever.
Yeah.
But I never was excited to watch it as when Game of Thrones came on.
I know. That's because you're
so excited
you're
for the show to come on.
You're a fucking
It's
nerd.
unbelievable.
You're a nerd.
I'm not a no, Nick. You know me through your heating guy. I've been there with Tom. I'm not a nerd.
No, you're not actually, Dennis. I didn't know that was you.
But I love Game of Thrones. It's like exciting.
What's your last name, Dennis?
Kavanaugh.
Here you go. You're fucking Irish. You wouldn't appreciate The Sopranos.
I watched it. It was great, but it's not Game of Thrones.
Oh, my God. You know fucking how high you sound? You've been breathing in those basement fumes. Stay away from that ductwork.
No.
No, Dennis is a good guy. He comes out to see me when I'm in a few of the local clubs, and I love the guys that they maintain my boiler and whatnot. And I will agree with Dennis because I don't want to puncture in a hole down there and let some fumes up. Next thing they find me and the wife in bed with our mouths open, like the fucking couple in Goodfellas under the bridge in their pink Cadillac. All right, Dennis, I will. I'll
Nick,
take that.
Care of yourself. I'll see
All
you.
right, take care, man. Oh man, fucking love the callers. Working class.
Yeah.
But I'm a little worried when these working class. And that guy's a guy's guy. Fucking Game of Thrones. Now I have to at least watch an episode.
Well, not better than The Sopranos.
No. Luke in Los Angeles was on the line before the show even started. He wants to talk about the forced diversity in Spider-Man, which I know I'm going to agree with. Luke, how's it going?
First of all, I'd just like to say there's no excuse for getting dry gulched.
What about me? What about my problem?
What is it my purpose of consideration? Fucking Dwight, he's the best.
Go ahead, Luke.
I know you're a big comic book reader, and you go to see all these comic book movies, so you probably already know about this, I'm sure.
I don't. I would never go see I hated comic books as a kid. I was a strange little kid. I like girls and fucking sports. But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, they must have handed out an edict before they started rolling it. There will never be more than one white person allowed on screen at any time throughout this entire movie. There's so much goddamn shoehorned in diversity. I don't need all white people in the movie, but there's so much. It's like it's distracting. You can't not notice it. It's like, holy shit.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
I believe that. And it's a comic book. It's a perfect excuse because, a comic book is just a myth that somebody brought alive or whatever. And it's a perfect excuse to force that agenda. And you're right. You can't have, whether it's a Budweiser commercial or a film coming out of, you can't have. I can't remember the last time I saw 4 white people in a commercial. It could be a commercial for Salt Lake City, Utah, and there'll be 3 guys in a headdress, a Mexican, a Puerto Rican, a guy from Italy, and 2 Japanese girls.
I don't know how to make a beer commercial.
There's a listener.
That's
my Luke for you. All right, Luke. Well, go ahead.
All right, man. Take it easy.
All right.
Job, babe.
Appreciate it. It really is. This is the beauty of this beginning. It started off rough, but it's an organic beginning. I didn't mean to talk about Game of Thrones. We have so much to talk about today. I want to talk about sex robots that you can set for. They have a rape setting on them. So speaking of Game of Thrones, and Rosie O'Donnell's promoting some thing online where you push President Trump off a cliff. We'll get to that fucking thick-ankled, heavy cream, chocolate-eating, moose-faced, unhappy person in a few minutes. OJ got caught, Robin went out, might cost him his parole, which is hilarious to me. There's a guy that had the world by the balls. Now they're scolding him for jacking off in his cell. What happened? What happened, OJ? And Out Magazine encourages readers to drop gay Republican friends. There's some open-mindedness, huh? I wanted to get Michael Musto, who I see all the time on TV and shit, right? He's like a critic and an actor and writes for the Village Voice and stuff. He could probably come in, right?
Yeah.
Me and him could wrestle in our underwear and put it up on. Why aren't we doing that? Should we be videotaping this? Whitey in Long Island. Welcome to the show, Whitey. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Yourself?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
So my thought with you in Game of Thrones is A, you don't need to watch it, because if you just want to see titties and violence, just go watch some porn and a beheading video after it. Like, there's no.
No, I want to see.
All,
yeah, I don't want to see fucking, Syrian heads being lopped off. I want to see a 22-year-old girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Being lopped off.
But I think also when it comes to The Sopranos, though,
yeah.
Like, I think that that gets put up on such a pedestal because it was the first show of its kind, really on HBO. I mean, The Wire was there before, but I mean, I think The Sopranos was the first really truly relatable series like that was that had violence, sex, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because where you grew up, you can identify what was going on there.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it was all things that you saw, so it made sense, and that was comical to you too. You know, you got the drama and the satire out of it because you could relate. Same thing for me, like with Breaking Bad. I'm 7 years clean now as a few weeks ago.
Right.
But I was that kid that was a straight A calculus student in college.
Right.
But then as soon as I started playing rugby, I broke bad and started doing a bunch of crazy shit. So yeah, that's why I love, out of the three, I think I love Breaking Bad the most because I can truly identify in being in Jesse's shoes.
Okay, but let me push back on that theory a little bit.
Right.
The Sopranos had worldwide acclaim, so it was so popular you didn't have to be from the Northeast and be half Italian or all Italian to relate to it. People went nuts over that, like all over the world. But yeah, it did. You're right. It did tickle my funny bone because I could relate to some of those people, and but it was such a huge success. I'm guessing it wasn't all Italian people who liked it from the Northeast.
Oh yeah, no, I'm true. But like I said, there's that personal connection. Like why you personally, out of the few, would put that up on that pedestal. Just like I was saying with me, like Breaking Bad goes up there because I relate so much to Jesse, and I would find myself.
You poor bastard.
It was really fucking funny.
Whitey, where'd you grow up in Shirley?
No, I grew up in Syracuse, man. I went to school up in fucking Plattsburgh. So,
did you?
From here.
Oh, that'll make you do drugs. It gets cold up in Plattsburgh.
Yeah, dude, that's a black hole. I tell people that Plattsburgh isn't real. You know, you pass exit 34 on the Northway, and that's where you go through the vortex, and you're in just like this other dimension, man. Because Plattsburgh hasn't changed at all in the last 20 years.
I know. I love those places up there, man. All right, Whitey, thanks for weighing in.
Yeah, take it easy.
You got it. Aaron in Michigan has an opinion on the Game of Thrones. Aaron, you try to sit through an episode. How'd it work out for you?
One episode played, and the end of the episode, brother and sister end up fucking each other. And I was done with it. It didn't appeal to me at all. I mean, Sopranos was a show that engrossed you. I mean, at least for me, I truly cared about the characters almost as if they were real. You kind of watch this whole family and everything that happens, and there's not been a show since that has even come close to what The Sopranos did.
I don't know. I think I could care about a girl being fucked by her brother. I'm not even from Alabama.
It was just not really off-putting, but it was just it's a real mythical show and everything.
Yeah.
It's just not my style. I mean, I love the Italian community and all that stuff that was going on in that show. And The Sopranos is awesome, but Game of Thrones, not my style of a show by any means.
All right.
And I wanted to say one more thing.
Sure.
It's nice to have. I'm a huge stand-up comedian fan. I watch everybody. Louis C.K. you, and it's nice to have a stand-up comedian actually share the same views and values as I do. Because all of them hate on Republicans, and it's always just bashing, and it's so refreshing to have a comedian like yourself represent us Republicans out there, because there's not many of them that do it.
Well, thank you, Aaron. I appreciate the compliments, and thanks for the call. And again, I hats off to Sirius XM for noticing. Hey, we got a deplorable run of the country. We need a deplorable host. But seriously, it takes a little bit of radio is show business. TV, movies A, TV B, radio C, if that. And, 98% of the business leans left. And like I said, more than that, Andy just rolled his eye. And hats off to them. I thought I should have been on here 10 years ago, but what are you going to do? I was running around. I thought I could get to the top of the showbiz ladder by playing the funny bone in fucking Atlanta 8 times a year. Anyhow, Jesus, the phone. What do we do here? Do we keep them on?
It's up to you.
Huh? It's up to me. I hate to. Yeah, I'm not gonna clear all these people. We're gonna have to stay on this because you know why? It intersects on a few. It's show business. It's society. It's nerds. It's globalists. It's deplorables like myself. And everybody has an opinion whether I should. I know I'm late to the game with it. I watched the first episode of the Wire and I fell asleep. I know it gets really good, but I didn't have the time. I had to be at Skid Marks in Buffalo. I had a weekend set up there. And all right, you guys stay on the line. We'll entertain again because it's packed, and we'll entertain a few more calls on this. But I would like to get to sex robots and who's got one. So if you know anybody out there that's got a sex robot, Brendan just raised his hand. By the way, is it male or female? What did you? What did you build it in your basement yourself? It's made of 2x4s, and apparently they ship out 600 of these sex robots a year. But one of them has a setting for rape now. I think that's going. I'm no Game of Thrones fan, but is that right, Andy? A brother and sister fuck?
Yeah, big plot line.
That's right out of porn, though. There's like sites for that, incest.
I know.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear Flower? Yeah, I know. All right, you guys stay on the line for the next, I'd say the first 10 minutes of the next segment. We'll try to get to you. But let's move on to sex robots and to Rosie O'Donnell, again, hating on the president. She's just an unhappy lover of ice cream and heavy cream. It's a Paolo show. Back after this. Andy Fiore. How are you, folks? Welcome back. 866-969-1969. 866-969-1969. If you'd like to join in the fun, come see me at the Fat Black Pussycat next Tuesday night here in the New York City area. Go to comedycellar.com for tickets. And go there for the Middle Eastern food. It's delicious. You could eat like a hostage on the West Bank. We started the show. I don't know how we got on the topic. I don't even remember, folks. I come in here unprepared, and that's the key to a good show, and stumbled upon the Game of Thrones. I kept hearing about it, and I said, and that doesn't make it good. I understand that. People heard about American Idol and whatever. But eventually you're like, for Christ's sake, got this big a following, and I was watching the Red Sox, and Andrew Benintendi, again, this is a generational thing. But this kid's a stud. And they had Andrew Benintendi Game of Thrones bobblehead night because he's such a big fan of the show. So I said, come on, this kid's 25, banging everything that moves. But now I'm thinking maybe not all of it's female. What? Who said? What? No, I love this kid. Love him to death. But, if anybody's going to tell me that it's close to The Sopranos, you're just nerdy and you don't even realize you're nerdy. You're definitely 30 at tops, maybe 35. But David Chase was the Shakespeare of our time. They teach classes about The Sopranos on college campuses. It was such a study in human behavior and so Shakespearean. And you're like, really, Paulie? No, what the fuck? I'm leaving 3 dimes on the table, no? I'll say it again. What the fuck's there to think about? I keep hearing Game of Thrones, and then when it popped up there on the Sox game, I go, for Christ's sake. And I heard violence and sex, but for crying out loud, a brother fucks his sister? Brendan said they're going, he's nodding his head and going, oh yeah, of course, you're from Kentucky. That's nothing new to you. But the basis Harry's on. Let's go to Danny in Long Island. He seems confused. Hi, Danny.
How you doing, Nick? First-time caller. Glad to be on the show.
You got it, brother.
Yes. One thing about Game of Thrones. First of all, my brother put me up to this. So here's the thing: I had never seen an episode of Game of Thrones in my life.
Right.
It's completely overrated in my book. The only thing I can maybe tune in are that one chick. I forgot her name. I think her name's like Amelia Clark. She's fucking hot.
Yes.
That's the only good thing about Game of Thrones.
Okay.
That's basically it. But I disagree with you about how The Sopranos is the greatest show of all time, and I think it's
That's not my. Hold on, Dan. Hold on. That's not my opinion. That's
well, you're talking so much crap about The Sopranos. I also find it embarrassing that they're teaching this in college about The Sopranos. So I feel bad for the kids.
Yeah, well,
my opinion.
Go ahead.
House of Cards is one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life, and also Breaking Bad is arguably the greatest show I've seen in my life.
Yeah, that's and you. How old are you, Danny?
I'm 23.
Exactly. That's all we need to know. You know nothing about life, and you can't appreciate the beauty of The Sopranos. But
Nick, one more thing.
You got it, bro.
The only Sopranos episode I have seen was the last episode. My parents let me say, you know what, Dan, you're part of history, so you can come in and watch it. And I'm watching this. I'm like, oh, that Journey song, that's good. And then the show ends. I'm like,
okay,
what happened?
Yeah, no, I know, but you're making my point for me. Hey, thank you. That was a good call, actually. Nobody knows. Nobody's a better judge of art than a 23-year-old from Long Island. I like this girl's tits. I mean, she had nice tits. I go with Game of Thrones. Fucking Sopranos. I mean, it ended. It wasn't predictable. They didn't wrap the series up in a nice bow, the way everybody likes their lives. It ended kind of like how real life ends. You're wondering what the fuck happened. We can't have that. We need everything tied up in a nice, neat bow. I love the way it fucking ended. I thought it was genius. Now you can fill in your own on how it ended. You know? I loved it. Even I was going, hey, wait a minute. I thought my cable went out. I'm like, what the? But that didn't mean I was like, oh my God, he got me. David Chase, that was his way of saying, I don't give a shit what you people want. I do what I do. That's what I do what I do.
Tried. I did the best I could. What about me? What am I supposed to do?
Goodness gracious, Heloise. Betsy in Massachusetts, welcome to the show.
Hi, Nick. Big fan. DHS graduate just like you. I met you when I was in the 7th grade. You were a senior playing football.
Really?
Ever since.
Nice to meet you, Betsy, again.
Yep. So I'm a big Sopranos fan because I'm in my 40s. I'm in my 40s, but still fabulous.
Hey, Betsy, Betsy, hold on. Your phone is the connection is horrendous. Are you on a walkie-talkie or a ham radio? What are you wrapped in tinfoil?
I'm on an iPhone 7.
An iPhone 7. Trade it in for a 3.
No, really.
Well, the higher the number, the worse. It works. Go ahead, Betsy. Go ahead.
I'm at, you know where I am, Nick? I'm at Fenway Park.
You're at Fenway?
Yes.
You're talking to me as you're at Fenway Park.
Well, I'm getting off the T, going into Fenway. Not quite there yet, you know.
Oh, so you're in the subway. I see why the connection's beautiful. Why don't you call me from a coal mine next time?
So, love comedy, love the Sox, love Danvers, love the Sopranos, and love Rescue Me.
Okay, Rescue Me.
Yes.
All right, Betsy.
So
I appreciate you taking the call. Go Sox.
And thanks for being on the air. Go Sox.
You got it. We're losing you. You're breaking up. You're breaking up, Betsy. Nice talking to you. Where you calling me from? Well, I fell down a fucking well. My feet are touching the core of the earth, but can you hear me? Can you smell my feet burning? Ay. Let's take a couple more and let's move on to sex robots, something we can all relate to. Oh. Wait a minute. I got to talk to Nick in Staten Island. He says he went to James Gandolfini's funeral. Nick, did you really?
Yeah, you know, the funny thing is, I didn't go to my uncle's funeral or my grandfather's.
Oh, God.
But I got all, me and my son, we were big fans of the show. In fact, we're big fans of yours, too. We've seen you on McDougal Street a couple of times.
Oh, thank you.
Anyway, we got all that stuff, and we went to the funeral. We were able to get in because I knew some of the cops outside. And it was fantastic. The funeral was great. I mean, Chase gave a eulogy that just was a knockout. I mean...
Oh, I can imagine.
Oh, it was incredible. I mean, they should put it on. I know they taped it.
Right.
I think they taped it like to save it for his son or something.
Right.
But if that ever comes out, it was great. I mean, the speakers were great. It was just a fun day to see them all walking around when you were a big fan of the show.
All right.
It was really cool.
Hey, let's hope Tony Sirico kicks off. Maybe I'll meet you there. All right, Nick.
Take care.
Take care.
Love the show.
Thanks, brother. I love that he didn't go to his relatives' funerals, but he goes to, and that sums up our country, doesn't it?
It was a fun day.
Huh? It was a fun day. I mean, Gandalf, yeah, he had a massive heart attack in Italy, and somebody stole his watch while he was dead. You remember that?
No.
Yeah. Somebody at the hotel took his watch off him. How about that? The dangerous situation. It was a Rolex.
It was a time.
It was what?
I was saying Timex.
It was a Timex.
I couldn't get it.
I mean, the Timex. What a fucking Swiss watch. Bunny in Kentucky has an opinion. I'm going to take one more call after Bunny, and we're going to move on to sex robots. Like I said, Brendan has two of them, one of each. Your thoughts. Bunny, go ahead.
I am a sex robot. Okay, listen. Going back to what gaying up all the things you were talking about before.
Yep.
I read the book. I haven't heard any. Has any of your callers read the book?
You read the book, The Game of Thrones?
The Game of Thrones, yeah.
Jesus Christ, that sounds painful. Oh, Brendan read the book. Brendan, go ahead, Brendan. Hold on. Brendan from Kentucky. It's one of the few books in Kentucky that they're allowed
access to.
Yeah. What, Brendan? How was the book?
There's 7 of them. They're all about 1,000 pages, so it's exactly as fun as it
Oh
sounds.
my God! And did you read them all?
Yeah, got them all read.
Bunny, did you read them all?
No, I gave up, and here's why. It's just really confusing. I didn't even watch. But my whole point was that there are no gay main characters. And George R.R. Martin, I can't say R.R., I'm from Boston, Martin, he, back in 2016, had to defend himself from the Pink Mafia, saying, look, I'm not going to shoehorn gay people in my books just to,
I remember that. I slightly remember that.
HBO did this. So that right there, that's then but I did enjoy the first book, but I like The Sopranos 1,000 times better.
Okay.
And you know why? Because I don't have any dragons in my life. I can, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I like to deal with, and you don't seem to be a fantasy guy to me. You seem to be like a Red Sox.
No, you're right.
And
you're right. I don't read.
You would read 2 pages of that book. I'm sorry, Nick.
No, you're right.
2 pages of that book and fall asleep. In fact, I think you should get that book, and it will cure your insomnia.
Nah.
Is that pithy?
I'd rather heroin between my toes. No, good point. All right, Bunny. Thank you. Good call. I do remember that, him having a beef with gay Hollywood. Who doesn't have a beef with gay Hollywood? I mean, fucking HBO. They're relentless. You are relentless, HBO, and you're not kidding anybody with your agenda. It was the only part of The Sopranos that I really didn't enjoy. And not because it was gay, really, because it was so forced. It was obviously HBO grabbing Chase by the neck and going, hey, you're forgetting an important demographic. Johnny Cakes.
Johnny Cakes.
Yeah, he's dead. That guy committed suicide in real life. You know that?
Vito or the Johnny Cakes?
No, Johnny Cakes. The guy that worked. I'm taking one more call on this subject, and then I want to talk about sex robots and how sick we have become as a Carrie in North Carolina. You have the final word on this.
Hey, Nick. Love your show.
Thank you,
Just wanted to
Carrie.
tell you, I don't think you're going to get the return on investment for the amount of time you're going to have to invest in watching all those goddamn shows.
Why is that?
Series.
Why?
Because it's not always going to be the titties or the pussy that you want to see. It could just be the old bag in the corner that's naked. And while you were talking about it, I thought it was funny because I don't remember it being I'm not watching it for the same reason.
Yeah.
But I kind of more remember those kind of more scary moments where God, I didn't want to see that. And so GQ actually has a great article. for the whole series, however many shows there's 71 times where there's been nudity shown, and they break it down in terms of quality and storyline. And so I think that might be a better option than the series.
Okay. All right, Carrie.
Information in 20 minutes.
I'm glad you see that I'm shallow. But anyways, thank you so much. I'll talk to you later. I don't need a ton of nudity. There wasn't a ton of nudity in The Sopranos. The best parts of The Sopranos and why it made it Shakespeare were the little things that gave it such depth. I mean, I grew up in the suburbs, and I'm not from a crooked family. You know, I know a kid who knew plenty. His dad knew plenty of guys in Revere and Massachusetts. You know, and but it was the little things like Carmela. Well, you know, Tony Soprano's eating his ziti at the table, like in the middle of the afternoon. She's running her fingers through his like he was a little boy. You know, wives do that. Little shit like that gave it the depth that just there's a million of those, and all the symbolism. Like Janice Soprano, the sister comes and she's always looking for money. And the first time she shows up in this series, the very first episode, she's talking to Tony out by the pool. And sure enough, at the end of the conversation, she asks him for money. She walks away. The camera cuts to one of those, you know, those things you put in your pool that cleans the bottom of the pool?
Yeah.
A bottom. So in other words, she's a bottom feeder. She's a fucking stuff like that. Well, when Vito, the gay guy, when they beat him to death in a hotel room, what's his name? Frank Vincent. What was his name?
Give me a sec. Phil Leotardo.
Phil Leotardo. He comes out of the closet to beat, literally out of a closet in the hotel, you know, and the symbolism. It was covered with everything on that screen was there for a reason. That's true of Game of Thrones if it's well done. Or when you go to see a film, there's a ton of symbolism. And I kept watching The Sopranos on a loop, and I would pick something up, just like when you watch The Godfather 100 times. You pick something up every time. There's so much symbolism in The Sopranos. For TV, it's to me on a different level. But that's because I'm Italian and I like tits, I guess. Who's got a sex robot out there? Raise your sticky, clammy hands. Yeah, I was reading about this. It's getting crazy with the technology.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
No, I'm
We're
not.
Take the bag off.
No, I'm not.
You're not sure?
Hey, you're raping me. This is rape.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
Okay.
Relax your arms.
New sex robots with settings